It seems like at the moment, everyone in their extended family is releasing a skin tint. So I saw this new one on Sephora and really wanted to try it to see if it's worth it. The market is so saturated with these types of products nowadays. It can be hard to choose which ones are actually good. So hopefully you will find this review helpful. The brand I'm talking about is Caliray, and this is their Freedreaming Skin Wellness Diffusing Tint. They also have the rest of the products from the brand to try on for you and do a wear test. So I'm gonna stop talking and let's go ahead and get into today's video. Before we start, if you'd like to subscribe, that would be nice so you can see all my new videos and reviews. Give this video a thumbs up if you like skin tint type products, and let me know in the comments below if this brand is something that sounds interesting to you or it's kind of just like more of the same. I'd love to know and chat with you down below, but let's get into the application of these products. Let's start with the first product I have here, which is their Freedreaming Clean Blurring Skin Tint. This comes in 10 different shades and I have 3 different ones to swatch for you today. The price is $39 for 1 ounce of product, so it is up there for sure. This is a high-end product. It's described as a clean, super lightweight tint with 94.5% natural origin ingredients and regenerating antioxidants that hydrates and blurs to minimize imperfection. Claims to be light coverage with a natural finish. So some of the skincare ingredients that it has is prickly pear extract, vitamin C and E, and jojoba oil. This is the box that it comes in. Very cute, very Californian. And starting with their lightest shade, which is number 2, it goes only by even numbers, so that's why there's no number 1. I kind of like that. I like even numbers, you know, whatever. So this is described as very light with a neutral undertone, and it does have one of those balls in it to mix up the product. And then the dispenser is just one of these squeezy tops. This actually comes out pretty quickly, like you barely need to squeeze it. So here's the lightest shade, and there's just a light swatch. You can tell it is too dark for me, and this is described as a neutral undertone. I would say that's pretty true. It seems to have this peachiness though to it. And this is the second darkest shade. Wow, that's a big jump in color. This one is described as light with a warm undertone. Definitely warm undertoned, for sure. And then this one on the bottom here is number 6, which is medium light with a warm undertone. That's really interesting that this shade is darker than the third shade. You would think it sort of would be in order. These actually look really similar. So this one says neutral undertone, this one has warm undertone. I definitely see this one has more yellow in it. I might try mixing these two because number 2, the undertone just isn't right for me. I don't know, but just to sort of put my 2 cents in on the shade range, obviously this is not matching me, and I think they could definitely do better. I know they just launched with 10 shades, and it seems that it does go pretty deep, but it's hard to tell because I don't have all of them here. I just have these 3 to go off of. I would like to see lighter shades, and usually if I find a shade range is lacking in lighter shades, usually it's the same with the deep end of the shade range. Again, I can't really tell just based off these 3 shades. So yeah, I think I will be able to make this work. Comparing it to Elia's shade range, they have a bunch of shades of their skin tint. I don't think they started off with that many, but they have a ton, and they have some very light and very deep shades. These are kind of confusing to me, but yeah, I don't know. Today I'm going to be using the lightest shade, number 2, and suggested usage, it says shake well, apply on a clean face with fingers or a brush, smooth it on like a moisturizer, and where extra coverage is needed, buff and blend a small amount on the area using a light tapping motion. That's good to know. I think I'm going to try half of my face with just my fingers. This does have a scent to it. The ingredients do have fragrance in it. I'm not sure if it's a natural fragrance. They don't clarify that, but it's nothing overwhelming. It doesn't smell synthetic to me. It smells like pretty good. I really don't mind it at all. So just starting on this side of my face, I'm going to start blending it in like I would a moisturizer as they suggested. I am getting some pilling going on my neck. That's usually from skincare that you use, so I'm not gonna like put that against it immediately, but now I know. Must have been a serum or something. That's why I particularly don't like using my fingers a lot either, because it can really increase pilling, whereas if you just tap it on with a sponge, it doesn't really do the same thing. But let's talk about just like my first impressions. It looks really pretty, went on beautifully, extremely skin-like. I love the texture of this. It's a very light gel-ish consistency. It's not oily or very, very dewy, which I like. I feel like a lot of skin tints end up being too dewy on me. I'm just using whatever's left on that side of my face. And I'm gonna go in with my sponge just to tap it in. I feel like that worked just as well and didn't give me the pilling. So I would probably just use a sponge for this. I did use quite a lot of product for just that part of my face, so I'm gonna add some more for my forehead. And then I'm blending it down my neck because you can tell the undertone just like isn't right for me. The more I try foundations and the more nothing matches me, I'm just assuming, I don't know, like my skin looks cool-ish, but also cool toned foundations look horrible on me and warm tones look a little bit too yellow. Maybe I'm olive, I really cannot tell. I feel like that's the mystery of my life right now. This literally goes on like a dream. I love the application so far. So here's one light layer. I would say I wasn't light-handed, but I wasn't heavy-handed. I was sort of in the middle. I did use quite a lot of product, but look at this finish. I love the finish of it. It looks really pretty and natural. The perfect amount of dewiness. It feels extremely comfortable right now. It doesn't feel heavy at all, like really, really light feeling and skin-like. It didn't really cover this like blemish, obviously that's super dark, but I do feel like it did even out the redness on my cheeks, and for a skin tint that's kind of what I'm looking for. So far I really like it. Let's try to build up a little bit more coverage because they did say that you can build up with extra product. So I'm gonna try the technique they said, which was to take extra product and then tap it in where you want extra coverage. Probably still blend it out with my sponge, but just to concentrate the product here first. And then I'm gonna lightly tap that in. That worked nicely. I do feel like this is buildable, which is kind of rare in a skin tint. Sometimes you can't get them to really build up any coverage, but like that's building up pretty nicely. So I actually feel like with the first layer of this has similar coverage to the Charlotte Tilbury, the new Skin Like foundation, which was very light coverage for me. And when I built it up, I feel like I'm getting like almost medium coverage. It's really, really nice amount of coverage for me. I usually don't use a lot of skin tints because I like more medium coverage, but I could see myself using this if it is buildable. I'm loving everything about this so far besides the shade on me. So I'm hoping that it wears well, because if it does, this is so beautiful on the skin. I really like the initial finish of it. And I'm gonna go ahead and do my concealer and the rest of my face, and then I'll be back to try the rest of their products. And I don't think I'm going to set this. Actually, I'm gonna go ahead and set one side of my face just so we can compare the performance of it. But before I set or do any of that, I do want to mention that I'm going to go in the places where my face usually gets cakey or creasy. So right by the sides of my nose and my smile lines. I like to do this with any product to remove excess, so it just has a better chance of looking good throughout the day. So if it does crease up in those areas, then we know it's really not gonna look good. We're just taking a precaution and smoothing that out. So I'm back. I just did a really simple face. So this side is unset with powder. You can probably tell it has more glow to it. I did set my under eye, but the rest of my face I left bare. I did put powdered bronzer and blush and highlight on, and that seemed to apply really well even on the unset product. And then this side has a light layer of powder and the same product. Personally, I prefer the powder side, but I'm really curious to see if they perform differently. Before we move on to the rest of the products, I will go ahead and insert a close-up of what it's looking like at this point. I will also put in a video I took on my phone. I feel like the phone usually picks up a little bit more detail, just more texture detail than my camera does. And the starting time of this wear test, it's been set down, is 2:51. So I will wear this as long as possible and then update you at the end of the night. But let's move on to our eyeliner that we have here. So this is called their Surfproof Easy Glider Eye Definer Waterproof Eyeliner Pencil. I don't know why that name is so long. They have 3 shades and it's $20. So they have a black, which is the one I have. They have one called the Deep, which is a navy, and then they also have a brown. The brown looks really pretty. So this is described as a long-wearing, clean, stay-in-place pencil that glides on the perfect sharp lines with a smudgeable application and waterproof wear. That's really cool. I love a smudgeable eyeliner, and it's also cool that it's waterproof. So here's what the packaging looks like. Very classic eyeliner. And then here's a quick swatch of the shade. Pretty basic, it's just black. So to use this, I'm just gonna start by smudging it on my lash line, and then I'll probably use a brush to smudge it out. We will see, but let's just see how this goes at first. So that glided on really nicely. I don't usually actually use a pencil to draw a wing. I'll usually use the extra product when I blend it out with a brush. So let me grab my eyeliner brush. So I just have my angled little eyeliner brush here. This one is from e.l.f. It was like a holiday edition one, but it's just called their small angled brush. And now I'm just running this on my lash line. And I'm gonna start the wing by just dragging out the color. This is like a lot easier and just like foolproof by just using the extra product. You can always deepen it. And I'm gonna soften up all these edges. So that did smudge out nicely, but I did lose some of the pigment. So I'm gonna go in again and build that up. This time I'm actually drawing a little baby wing too, and then dragging that out. So there's our eyeliner on both eyes. This smudged out nicely. It wasn't too harsh on my eyes. It does have a nice amount of pigment that's buildable. We'll see if it smudges or sort of crumbles throughout the day. But I mean, I have a really hard time justifying like higher end like pencil liners because there's so many great ones at the drugstore, especially the NYX Epic Wear liners. They're basically just like these. So, you know, I don't know. We'll see. Even if it wears well, I'm not like super excited about it. Next for the eyes, we have their Come Hell or High Water Voluminizing Tubing Mascara. This is a $24 mascara. You can get a mini size on Sephora. So it says that it's a clean voluminizing tubing mascara that's zero smudge. We'll see about that. Water resistant and long wearing. Vial is 100% recycled ocean plastic. So has some argan oil, triple wax mix, and a tubing technology. I personally really like tubing mascaras because they're usually pretty dramatic. So we'll see about that. I'm gonna go ahead and give my lashes a curl before we apply it. So the brush is very small, like I can barely see the bristles. It's definitely like a more voluminizing style brush, and it's picking up a ton of product, which really worries me. I'm gonna go ahead and scrape some of it off because it just seems like it's way too much. Yeah, that's a lot of product. All right, let's try this out. So that's just one coat so far. Very pretty. Here's what it looks like on the top and bottom lashes. So I did just do like my normal amount that I usually use. I did it on the top and bottom. It's a very wet formula, so it did get like on my eyelids a lot, which I can clean up. I feel like tubing mascaras are usually a bit more wet because they like totally coat your lashes and then dry down. I do really love the look of this. This is beautiful. No complaints besides like the wetness of it. And I also feel like the brush just picks up a lot of product. Like when the mascara has that little mascara hat on it, that's not a good sign to me because that's just like too much product. I did wipe it off before I applied it, so I just feel like maybe the brush could be updated or like a better stopper. It's just a little bit too much product for my personal application. While my mascara is drying, let's talk about their lip products, which are called the Glaze and Infused Lip Plumper Gloss. I have 3 different shades here. These are $19. They have 6 shades. So these are described as a clean lip gloss that glides like an oil, hydrates like a cushiony balm, and has biometric peptide to plump your lips now and over time. So they come in this cute little green packaging, and then it has just like a squeezy tube type of application. These smell so good, by the way. I would kind of describe it like a Jolly Rancher watermelon flavor. It's really good. I personally love the scent. It's not like overwhelmingly sweet. I find I really don't like lip products that are like super sweet vanilla-y. This one's like very fruity and fun. So this is the first shade, which is called Free Palomas, which is this peachy color. The shade description is described as a pale nudie pink, but I feel like it definitely has a lot of peach in it. And then we have this next shade, which is called Likely Story. It's called a warmed up nude pink. Again, very warm. Not my favorite shade personally. And then the last shade, this one is called Taco Tuesday, which is a toasted caramel honey. That looks really pretty. Let me put them all on my lips for you. Why not? I do have a lot of dryness on my lips right now. These feel amazing. They have this like thick balminess to them, but they do glide on really easily, and they're very glossy and pretty. The shades are sheer. I really like this one, Free Palomas. This next one is Likely Story, which is the nude peach one. This one's actually very pretty too. I love the texture of these. It's really not enhancing my lip dryness. It's gliding over it. Super comfortable on the lips. And this one is Taco Tuesday. This one might be my favorite. It has this really pretty like caramel undertone to it. Let me know which one is your favorite on me. The first one was Free Palomas, the second was Likely Story, and then this one is Taco Tuesday. So I went ahead and actually lined my lips with the Lime Crime lip pencil in Topaz. and then I reapplied Taco Tuesdays. I love the feel of these. They're really nice and balmy, which I prefer in a lip tint just because I feel like they give you more moisture and stay on the lip a little bit longer, and if you have really dry lips, it just feels like more comforting. So I really enjoy these. I try a ton of products like this and a lot of them sort of blend together, but the texture of these really stand out to me and I love the scent of them. They're really nice and all the shades I tried are super pretty. I'm definitely gonna like keep these around my house, put one in my bag. I feel like it's kind of impossible to like hate a product like this. They're just so good. So that was actually everything we had to try on. So far I liked everything that I tried, but the question is this going to wear well? I really hope that this skin tint does because it looks beautiful. This is almost like a light coverage foundation in my opinion, which I really enjoy, that it has that buildable coverage. Finish is beautiful. Again, this side is unset and this side is set, so we'll compare at the end of the day, but I will see you guys then. Bye. So I'm back for my final check-in and it's now 10:56 at night. Been wearing this all day. So again, this side is non-powdered and then this side did have powder on it. I would say I definitely like the powdered side better. It just kept me a little bit more matte. This side's just getting a little bit too oily for my preference, and I didn't even really use an oil controlling powder. I can imagine if I did use one, this side would be even less oily. But long story short, it looks really good. The only thing I will say is there's maybe like a little bit of cakiness around my chin, but it didn't really sink like too badly into my smile lines. Like it did a little bit, but nothing too bad. I'm really surprised by just the wear of this. I wasn't wearing a mask or anything, so I'm not sure if it is transfer proof. I will have to continue testing it, but first impressions of this are really good. It looks so pretty. It's one of my favorite complexion products that I've tried as of recently. I would just definitely set it with powder if you do have more oily skin, but I really love how it looks. The blush, bronzer, everything stayed really nicely over it. In terms of the eyeliner that we tried, I don't have any smudging in my crease and I do have pretty oily lids, so this is nice, but like I mentioned, I feel like there's drugstore liners that are very similar. For the Come Hell or High Water mascara, this is a really pretty finish. It's super black and dramatic and I actually didn't smudge. I'm very surprised that I'm liking this. There is a couple of flakes, like I just noticed. There's like a couple on this side, a couple on that side. Minimal flaking. I wish it didn't flake at all, but it is super pretty and it gives a great lengthening, very just like va-va-voom effect to the lashes, which I love. So far out of everything, I would say that the skin tint is definitely my favorite. Oh, I forgot about the lip products. The lip products, love these. I mean, what's not to like? They're balmy, they're moisturizing. I've reapplied them all day and they've just been really nice and comfortable on the lips. Really pretty shades. How can you not like them? They're just really good. Really enjoy the lip products. The skin tint is very promising to me. I will have to continue using this. So far, I really enjoy it. I would say this is my favorite skin tint formula and feel out of all the other skin tints that I've really tried before. In terms of like the Ilia skin tint, that one is super dewy and sticky, which doesn't always look the best on my skin. The Say Beauty slip tint is a really nice one. Tower 28. Those are all nice, but they can get a little bit like heavier or cakier looking. Keeping in mind that those do have SPF in it. This one doesn't, and I like having the option of just having like a skin tint you could put over SPF or just wear on its own depending on what you want to do. So really excited about this. I hope that it continues to work for me. So that was everything for my check-in. Let me know in the comments below if you think this is wearing well. I think this is giving me more coverage and better wear than the new Charlotte Tilbury foundation. I know I'm comparing everything to that, but just for the price, it's like this is better than that foundation. I don't find that foundation really has enough coverage for me, and I did find that this one was buildable and has a very similar look to it, but way less oily in my T-zone. The Charlotte Tilbury one can just get like very overboard looking, but this has a super natural finish. So let me know in the comments below if you think that it wore well, and yeah, to the outro. So that was everything for today's video. I hope you found this helpful. Please don't forget to give it a thumbs up if you did and you've already made it this far into the video, and make sure you are subscribed if you haven't already. But thank you so much for tuning in. I had so much fun trying out this new brand at Sephora, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye.